It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's the Gloop Guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gloop Guys Network. Today, we have something new going on. We have two special guests. We have Ryan Azzolini, high school football coach, and Luke Muller, my brother, high school soccer coach. Welcome, everybody.
How's it going?
That's going.
Happy to have you guys on.
Thank you for having us.
Today, we're starting
Luke,
off a little
welcome
bit
back. Thanks for joining us again.
Absolutely.
Today, we're starting off with something a little bit different. We're going to start off with something not as serious. Well, that's actually very serious. I keep seeing these videos online doing a draft of your favorite football Sunday food. So we will do a draft, 3 to 4 rounds long, depending on how we all feel. It'll be a snake draft. Don't know the order. You basically just have to pick your favorite football food. If it's been picked, you can't pick the same one. Is that okay with everyone at the start here?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Sounds good.
I already got a sleep. You didn't even tell me about this. I already have a sleeper pick that the three of you guys aren't thinking about. I guarantee it.
If you make it your first round draft pick, that'll be fine.
Who goes first? I say Ryan because he's first time on the podcast.
Luke, because it's the second, and then between me and Tommy, I'm taller, so I'm third, and you're fourth, Tommy.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is this a snake
You
trap?
know what? I just see. We
It's a
just
snake
went from
draft.
what you call it? Worst looking to best looking. I'm sorry, Ryan. That was collateral.
We'll take it. Now, Ryan, with your
All right.
first overall pick of the draft, what are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with pizza.
Pizza. You know, this is the second time today I saw pizza or heard pizza on this list, and you know I don't love it, but I digress.
I mean, here's the thing. There's 4 of us, so I figure the answers are going to get pretty fast. And I just really wanted that on my team if I was going to have it, so I went with it. There was like, I originally didn't know if it was going to be 2 of us, and I had a definite number 1, and I'll just acknowledge what that is when it inevitably gets picked, probably second.
I've got the number 1 sleeper pick that no one even knows about. He's going to a D3 college for sure. But we'll go from there.
Was it going the third round? Are you saving for the first round right off the bat?
Oh, right off the bat, he's a sleeper. He went to a
boy.
D3 college, but he definitely deserves to be the first overall pick.
Luke, what are you going with?
I'm going with wings. Can't beat wings.
Yeah, that was the...
You gotta love wings. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with wings.
I'm gonna beat wings.
And with that, I'm actually gonna go with nachos. 'Cause who
Okay.
doesn't love nachos? Tommy, this is a
You
double.
guys ready?
It's a double round.
Yeah, I got through it twice. That's the crazy thing. Who let me have this power? Because after this, everyone's thinking, inside the box, and I'm just going outside the box, and it has nutritional values. It is food. I'm going
Sorry?
with beer.
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 Can't go wrong with that.
D3 college, definitely was lazy, didn't really want to put in the work, but still played football. Beer.
I like it.
After
Wow.
that, I'll wrap back around and say, I put way too much thought into the first one,
Soda?
and I've got nothing on the second one. Yeah, we're gonna downgrade. No, I'll say chips and sauce. Sorry, my dog is barking, but chips and sauce I'll go with.
Okay. So I got my chips with nachos. What I'm gonna go with next is similar to wings, but some chicken tendies.
That's a good one.
So just question.
Yeah.
We did chips and salsa. You did nachos. Does chips and guac count? Does chips and like queso count? Are they separate or are they all?
You can do other dips. That is confirmed. You can do other dips.
Okay, well I'm gonna do sliders.
Oh,
Sliders is good.
dang nabbit. That's a sleeper if I ever heard one.
Oh yeah.
I've
Some nice
got
beef
one.
sliders.
The
I've
inner
got one.
fat in me just hit hard.
All right. I'm going to go with taquitos,
Oh,
and then I'm going to go with chips and guac. I'll steal that parlay.
wow. Wow. So
The
you're
chips
right
with the
back to
dip is a
Luke.
good wraparound. You need like you're sitting there, you want to eat something, but you don't feel like getting up because there's a play going on. Just grab some chips and whatever dip that you want.
Man,
How many rounds are we going?
I think we're gonna go 4. It makes sense. We
Now
get
I'm
2
thinking-
snakes,
now I'm
right?
thinking-
Okay, yeah, four is fine.
4? I'm really gonna think. I'm gonna go with loaded fries.
Oh,
That's a good one.
stealing everything I want. I love.
I
fries.
got one. I don't think Aaron's thinking.
Well, there's one that I'm going to end with because no one's going to pick it. I can almost guarantee it. And I love those things, but I'm not going to go with that. You know what? I'm going to go with something that sort of in a different category here. I'm going to go with an ice cream sandwich.
It's a good one, but I mean-
wait, what?
Ice
I'm
cream
going-
sandwich.
No,
You got
I understand. I know what it
Cookie,
is.
ice cream.
That's a football Sunday food.
You have your snacks. You finished. You're like, you know what? I want something sweet. Why don't I get an ice cream sandwich?
All right, sure.
That
Why
wasn't
not?
even the one that was a sleeper.
I got one. I'm
All
picking Ryan's. I'm picking Ryan's first overall pick. I'm just taking it. I'm just drinking it down. I'm getting pizza rolls.
Oh,
Solid choice.
Yeah,
I'd take an ice cream
You know what?
sandwich over that.
just to
I was
mess
gonna
you
say, I
guys
didn't know
up
where
even
you were
more.
going with that at first.
So you can't even spin it back around and say it's the best thing. It's fine. No, because I'm taking pizza bagels too.
You're gonna take pizza bagels and
I'm not gonna lie, I thought about stealing both chips back to back when your brothers took sliders after asking the question. I was like, I kind of want to just take both to be funny, but
I mean you can, but in my opinion,
I got
that's pretty weak.
a sleeper chip pick.
Now, what I think no one was gonna pick next, but I love them, jalapeno poppers. I'm taking jalapeno poppers with my last pick.
good.
I love a nice jalapeno popper. Cheese and spice, and just everything nice.
oh, I
I'm
think
gonna
I have a fucking sleeper. But
I got a buffalo chicken dip.
Oh,
Chips buffalo chicken
dip is
dip.
that's a
nice.
really good one. All right,
Ryan,
All right, that's my-
final.
I'm gonna go with those little pretzel rivet things you get from the Philly Pretzel Factory. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Where you
The
can dip it
rivets.
like cinnamon dip.
The
and whatnot.
rivets.
Oh,
Yeah, the rivets. Those things.
The
That's
rivets
good.
are solid.
that's a good one. I can't
No.
make fun of that.
Just to let you guys know for a split second, I have to some business with the dogs. A picture of me doing a thumbs up here, but I'm still gonna be able to talk as we're going along. So continue the draft. I'm still here. My picture's up.
I believe the draft is over. Everyone has all their picks, correct?
Yeah,
That was only 3
I got
rounds.
The highest, I got the highest
That was-
rated review afterwards.
Tommy, that was
Don't
4
mind me.
rounds. That was
Don't
4
mind me,
rounds,
I'm
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been drinking beer in the beginning. I'm dumb.
You picked bagel bites twice, so
No, pizza rolls and then pizza. I took they're brothers.
same thing, just different sizes.
Quincy Williams and Quinnen Williams are on the same team, and
Oh.
definitely not the same player.
So let's do a recap. Everyone to say who is on your team, and then all of the fans that are obviously going to watch this video can pick who has the best team.
Oh, I don't remember.
Ryan doesn't remember.
Ryan,
you got-
pizza. Hold on. I had pizza, taquitos, chips and guac, and then pretzel rivets.
Okay.
I mean, I could go back and I'll put it right up on the screen so we can see it and have them vote that way. I'll even throw a little poll on Instagram.
There we go.
Luke, your squad.
Mine were wings, sliders, loaded fries, and then buffalo chicken dip and chips.
Then I had nachos and chicken tendies, ice cream sandwiches, and jalapeno poppers.
The fact that that wasn't even your last pick is just so insane.
Tommy, last but not least, you're in.
I did beer, which I think is an auto win. I think like as long as you got beer at the party, there doesn't even need to be any other snacks.
I honestly
Um,
thought that beer was a given.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say
yes.
that I thought that was a
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah,
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, you guys aren't allowed to have it at your party now because
it's hard alcohol.
Um, oh, shit. Do a shot every single time the Jets mess something up. You won't remember the rest of the game. After that, I did chips and salsa, and then I did pizza rolls and pizza bagels. So
All right, not too shabby of a round here. With that,
pretty much like it's something like a divorced dad would serve the kids when he's trying to watch football.
So with that, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this podcast. Now that we've gotten all the jitters out, all the nerves, we're going to start with the first question. We'll go by, I guess, location on the screen for me, and we'll start with Ryan first. With your, for coaching, for being a football or track coach, what do you think is more beneficial for your players? Tough love, encouragement, a mix of stuff, none of the above? What do you think?
So definitely a mix of stuff. However, it can't always be a mix of stuff from you if it's not genuine. Like you just kind of have to be real when talking to your players. You can't always just like fake everything and kind of like act as if a coach that you're not. You definitely need to kind of have tough love, and I realized that because when I first started coaching and I was younger, it kind of almost being closer in age, it seemed like it feels almost more like a older brother type thing. But as you keep doing it, as you get older, it's almost becomes more of like a not fatherly figure type, but it's an older figure, so you're like that figure to them. So you want to show like you got to be tough at certain points with them to kind of give them that like ounce of maybe what I did was wrong, or but you always also have to go back and then give them that encouragement after the fact to know that you're not just kind of coming in at them.
Luke, thoughts?
I completely agree. I would definitely say like earlier on in my coaching career, don't want to be like that person that's going at them all the time, because you just kind of you want to make sure that they are listening to the things that you're doing, and you don't want to, if you feel like, oh, if I yell at them, they're not going to listen earlier on. But then at the same time, the longer and longer you coach, the more you understand that there are ways to talk to each individual kid, and you have to know the kids to be able to talk to them. As a group, you have to give them a combination of both. But then you will have some kids that respond better to the tough love, and some will respond better to be a little bit more caring. You just have to know the personnel that you're talking to. But again, giving that hard love is definitely necessary so they understand where they need to be. Because if you just give it easy all the time, they're never actually going to try and push themselves to the level that they have to push themselves.
So do you find that, like with kids nowadays, you have to use one more than the other more often? Or do you think it's still, like you said, like a mix?
It's definitely a mix. I feel like it also just depends on the situation. For example, and also like what exactly is going on during your season, right? Earlier on in your season, you want to make sure that you set the tone nice and early so everyone knows exactly what's going on. Depending on how the season goes, could be dictated on how you approach going to a practice or going to a game. If you're winning, right, you have to make sure that you keep the kids nice and focused and be like, we got the next game going on, get focused, let's work hard, continue that. If you are struggling and losing a couple games, you have to maybe go the opposite way, be hard on them, but at the same time, be a little bit more understanding and push them to where they could be. You kind of have to read how you feel like the environment on the team is going and adjust based off of that, but also at the same time, keep your mind set on what you're trying to do with the team, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that changes year in and year out when you have players who leave and new players who join, and it's really heavily dependent on what their personalities are like. But it's also going to change because you're going to have the player-to-player interaction too, so that's going to look different also.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's very situational.
Yeah, and players stepping, from becoming like rookies on a squad to then turning into captains and leaders. I'm sure that always looks different too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
And that's
yeah, Luke.
I'll say also I feel like along with that, it with what you were saying year to year and how things change, it's also setting the tone early for how the future is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you set the tone this year, just say 4 years ago when we had a new assistant coach working with me, we had to change the tone a little bit of how we coach and all that type of stuff because it's a new dynamic of what's going on. And if you set the tone for the freshmen as they come in that first year, hopefully you can guide them in the direction of where you're trying to bring them, and that translates into how the program is going to develop as well.
Yeah, that's
So
something
that's
I
what
never really thought about. Yeah,
It's-
like the future outlook that your what's the word? Your culture now is gonna define the culture in the future as well.
exactly.
To
So
kind of piggyback off of
Yeah.
that exact point, we just had two high schools merged together into one.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're kind of dealing with that on an insane level of this is the first year of like the school's program history. So like a lot of things that we do are quite literally going to dictate possibly how they are done in the future.
Mhm.
So we're still kind of navigating all of those waters in our first year, and it's it's had some challenges to it, but also it makes sense.
Ryan,
Sorry, you go.
no. I'm sorry. Finish what you were saying.
I was just going to say to his point of like dealing with all different types of kids. I'm dealing with kids that I've dealt with for possibly 4 years, but now also, we went from a team of like 40 kids to we have like 100 kids on our roster now. So like we have way more kids. Some of them seniors that have known their coaches for 4 years, where I've known them now only for like a handful of months. So it's like very different kind of relationships across the board. But it's been it's had its challenging moments, but also very rewarding moments because you already have relationships with the kids, even though you haven't known them as long, and you want to see all of them succeed, even if you haven't known them that long.
Absolutely. Yep.
Ryan, you might have
Yeah,
told me
that
this
definitely makes
before.
for
You might have told me this before, Ryan. But did some of the coaches from the other school also join you, or was it all your coaching
It was a pretty
staff?
equal split.
Okay.
So it's like it was pretty much like a 50-50 of the coaches are on the staff. So it's like a very equal for any kid that wanted to join, that it probably wouldn't be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but
There-
either way, not only is it new players, new coaches getting to know each other too. Whether you have the same playbook and stuff like that could be completely
Yeah,
different.
that's obviously a very big kind of who's running what.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one? Are you like the main head coach, or is it like each school has
No,
their
no.
own?
So we went from two high schools to one. So we now have one, obviously, head coach for the entirety of the high schools.
Okay.
The head coach for one of them became the actual head coach, and then the head coach at the other high school is just on now as an assistant coach.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like they're both still on staff,
Yeah.
but one is still just the head coach and one is just the other.
Makes sense.
We should have said it before,
Interesting.
Ryan. What type of coach are you again with the football team?
So I am for the varsity. I help with run the offense, like signaling and plays. I'm the fullback and tight ends coach, and I'm the head freshman coach.
Okay. Tommy, what
So
do you want to say
all
earlier?
over the place.
No, you touched on what I was going to say. I was curious on what the coaching staff looked like and if there was any, just different things you had to overcome as a team with the two different. Every coach has their own differing perspective on things, which is why we were excited to have the both of you guys on. So I was curious on how those perspectives kind of meshed together as it became one team.
And I think that goes into our next sort of set of questions. We're going to bring up a situation and ask what you would do in that situation. So I'm thinking we'll just start first one with Ryan. Luke, you can feed off of it, and then we'll just go back and forth between the two for each situation. Sounds good?
All right.
Ryan, let me set the scene for you. You're at practice. For some reason, no other coaches are there. It's just you. And little Johnny goes up to little Jimmy and pops him right in the nose. And they're yelling and they're screaming. You have to pull them apart. What do you do in this situation?
So it does depend on like my relationship with the kids as well. If I know the kids a little bit better, I'll probably try to like break down, diffuse the situation a little bit more myself. If it's two kids I really don't know or have a relationship with, I probably don't want to do as much of that and more kind of like calm down the situation at hand and then kind of like have someone go get back up in a sense and then have another coach come out and kind of help me figure out what's really going on. But again, a lot of situational, like, because I've had situations where it's like not even fights on the team, but like fights in school where like there was one I had to break up where like I knew one of the kids and it made the situation very different where I'm like, hey, what's going on here? I like know you. Why is this happening? Type deal. So if that were kids on the team, I can pretty much imagine like two kids I know, I could break it up and kind of be like, hey, what's going on? Maybe I even know a little bit what's going on because like I know the two kids. But if it's two kids I don't know, then you generally want to, given also that I'm not the head coach, I imagine that makes quite a difference. I don't want to also overstep any boundaries of how he might want certain things handled or how he might want certain things done. So I don't want to like handle something or do something a certain way and then him be like, why'd you do that? We should have done it this way. So I kind of look to him or other coaches for that guidance as well because I'm still like young and learning.
Luke, thoughts?
No, I think that's pretty spot on. It really does depend on the kid, and if you have that relationship, because relationships, in my opinion, are the biggest things when it comes to your athletes. The better relationship you have, the more they're going to respect you, the more they're going to listen to you. If you have no relationship, they have no tie to you, so there's no reason for them to really listen to what you're saying or what you're trying to instruct them to do. So I think the relationship is huge. If that were to happen, just as a head coach, definitely I would just call my assistant right away, get them over there, or someone else that's like an adult, get them over there so they could take control of one of the kids, then I could talk to the other kid. Have the rest of the team just go somewhere else for a time being, so like we could just kind of have that conversation of what's going on, whether it's them going for a run, whether it's them going somewhere else, just do some drill work while we try and handle the situation that's going on. If it's a fight, to that extent, honestly, probably kid would be off of the team at that point, just because that's not really, we're not here for that, and there's no reason for it. You should be able to have a conversation and a good conversation over a yelling or a fighting or punching each other situation. And if they end up fighting each other, honestly, that probably will also go to the school because it still is a school function, is a school event. So if it happens there, then that'll also have to be translated to the principal, the vice principal, and the athletic director so that they're aware of everything that's going on in that situation while you're also diffusing it. It also depends, like the principal or athletic director might not be there at the time or they may have left if it's at the end of practice. So that would be just like a text, phone call to the administration, making them aware of the situation, and then also always following up with an email so that way you could talk to a counselor, you could talk to whoever it is to make sure that they're all aware of what's going on, and then they might even be able to get deeper into what's going on. So like them going to the counselor and having the counselor talk to them. If you're not comfortable talking to whoever the student is or the athlete is, if you are, then you can have that conversation. But again, I would always refer them to the athletic director, number one, make them aware, and then two, the counselor, so they can talk to them in more detail about the things.
So this makes me think of my high school experience, and my coaches didn't do any of that.
Who'd you fight, Aaron, and why?
Well, no, I didn't fight anybody. But if two people fought on our team, maybe this was just a football thing, they'd be like, "Oh, you're just getting feisty today, fellas." That's all right.
So the way you also phrase the question is I'm the only coach present in the situation. Sometimes if it's like kids fighting during a play because like one kid beat the other one, hey, sometimes maybe you see a kid get angry and he's never got angry before. You're like, maybe this is a good thing for him to kind of let some of that out. Obviously, you don't, to the same point, you don't let anything get out of hand. And if there's like a real fight that breaks out, but you got to know the difference between like a legitimate fight and also kids just kind of.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, kids being kids, getting a little feisty after, like getting mad for your first time.
If I'm the only one out there, I can't let them. But if there's 8 other coaches observing and have a handle on the situation, that we see like, oh, like this kid's just like he's angry, but there's some benefit you can take from everything.
Yeah,
but you don't want anything to get out of hand. You don't want anyone to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's definitely like, there's teaching moments with that too. It's like, you can kind of have him or have them direct that as well.
That being said, in track and field, there is none of that. I coach
Yeah.
girls track and field, so if anyone's fighting anyone, it's generally not a good thing. So
You're
it
fighting
does.
a
It
shot
may be it. To your point, it is a football fight.
Now, little Johnny, who likes to fight his teammates one day. This is starting towards Luke. This situation. Little Johnny is going up against the rival team, the Pistons. I don't know why the Pistons. We're playing against the Pistons, and the Pistons have this player named Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas and little Johnny are going at it. They're fighting. They're punching. They're getting mad. They're yelling curse words. Luke, what do you do? How do you stop this? How do you react after the game to the fact that a fight happened? And don't forget, not only that happened, it was a bench clearing brawl. Half your players, they were punching each other. They were flipping each other over.
Well, is it home or away? Because that also makes a difference.
That's true. You're away.
Great question.
You're away.
And you just won.
It's our place?
Yeah. Oh no, you're away. You're away.
Oh, away? Well, one, when it comes to soccer, if anyone steps on the field, they get yellow cards
Oh.
right off the bat. So that kind of changed everything. So if it ever comes to that, all the kids that step on the field get a yellow card right away. No hesitation, no nothing, so that happens. And then, obviously, if there is fighting or something like that going on with another player, you get them off the field immediately. You sit them off to the side. You're done for the day. If it's something that's not very serious, okay, maybe they just need to calm down a little bit and just take a breather and then get back in. Maybe put them into a different position. But if it gets to the point where it's like a little fist fight, again, most of the time that's going to end up with a red card being given to both players, and then they're both off the field, and that's quickly solves that. If it ends up being a whole entire brawl, I wouldn't be surprised if they just end the game how it is. Just because you would get the red cards and then you get the yellow cards at that point, then it just comes down to, and my biggest thing as a coach is player safety. So if it just gets to the point where we feel like the teams are just going to go back and forth and have this big fight, then there's no point in even continuing the game, because it's going to end with more players getting cards, more players getting red cards, and then you have 5 or 6 players that are off. So I would, in my situation for soccer, I would just say, get them off, we're done. I'll take the loss at the end of the day. I'm not risking worse things happening, because when it gets to that, it then starts going to the school. And then now kids are involved in other repercussions. We don't like doing that, but if it becomes to a fight happening in a game, again, that goes to the principal, that goes to the vice principal, and you have to handle that with them as well, because it's something that's pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then get all the kids to the bus.
Yeah.
So,
Ryan, thoughts?
So we had a situation like this happen this summer.
Story time. Let's go.
We had a 7-on-7, and 7-on-7s aren't my favorite as a football coach, because it's not the same thing. And if you don't run an offense that's a passing-based offense, they're just kind of pointless. And if you run a physical style defense, they're not the best. Mm-hmm. So we got in a fight with the team. Both teams cleared their sides. They're all yelling at each other. We're, as coaches, kind of running in and trying to get our kids that are getting involved, kind of pull kids back. So the officials met in the middle, and pretty much exactly like your brother described. Funny enough, that's why I kind of started laughing when he was saying it. The officials kind of talked to the coaches. They decided that the best thing was just to end it where it was. There wasn't a ton of time left necessarily anyway. The one funny thing I will note is the other coach was very adamant that the game should end. And then he realized they were losing the game at that point, and that it ended in a loss for them. And then he was trying very quickly to flip his tone about maybe keeping the game going, but they still ended it as it was. But I just thought that was a funny note.
Sounds pretty
It
logical.
was also, it doesn't mean anything. It's a
I
sentence.
was actually there watching your game, which is why I use that as an example. Okay.
He's like, actually, I have a clip.
You just see Luke standing in the corner with his cell phone. Oh, that's actually too funny. But that brings us to our next situation. Little Johnny's out of the game. It turns out Little Johnny keeps fighting because he stinks. He's not a good player at all. He's underachieving. But you think he has more potential than anyone else on the team. So, Ryan, what do you do? How do you get this underachieving player that, has a little anger streak going, beating up everybody? How do you get him to start playing better?
So he's a potential star athlete, but he's beating people up because he's bad at the game.
Well, he's playing bad. He's not bad at the game. I misspoke. I apologize.
He's given up. You've watched him his potential before. You've seen him explode, and now he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this, and he just starts punching little Johnny.
So a lot of time, I feel like in that situation is there could be other things kind of weighing in on it as well. Who knows if they don't like the atmosphere of the team. I've had that happen where it's mainly through I talk about my freshman coach experience more than the varsity staff, because that's more of the head coach situation that I'm in. But we've had it's where freshman teams, I don't know if it's the same in soccer, but we've had it before where we've had some star athlete kids that are wow, this kid could contribute to the varsity. And then we just have some kids that it's their first time ever playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that whole situation. If you lose some games, sometimes the kids that are really good do in that situation lose some faith. So you got to kind of reach to them, and you almost kind of have to ask them hey, we need not in a way of saying it's their fault, but honestly, we need their help in that situation. Hey, we need them to kind of help be a leader more than kind of pull away and try to instead of be in that situation of being angry about it, maybe try to help get a lot of these other kids up to speed. So because especially at the freshman level, I tell them you guys this is your crew for the next 3 years after this. So no matter how, this is just your freshman year. So no matter how this year goes, you got to build on this. So no matter, this year should be a learning year. It doesn't matter how this year goes. What you guys have to do is try to stay together, keep as many kids as you can, keep building the team. So by the time you guys are juniors, seniors, hey, the kid who didn't know a whole lot this freshman year, who wasn't very good, now suddenly can contribute and play maybe one spot on the defensive line. And now that gives another kid a rest. And we had the issue before our schools merged just with numbers dwindling. And it's, sometimes we see a lot of kids in the hallway and it's why, hey, come out and play. Even if you play one spot for us on the team, you're playing a role, you're helping, you're part of the camaraderie that is being a part of a team, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's team building. I like that for sure. Ryan, I don't have a lot of coaching experience, but it just makes me think that there's a lot to learn from that, and I think that it might be a good idea if I set you up with my friend Woody Johnson. You could talk to the New York Jets for me, because I think they have a lot of problems building with the team building experience, and players who join us who get frustrated after they get paid. But honestly, it might be good for them.
Jet rookies.
Yeah.
Get them going.
Don't worry, sir. The Jets are only losing 17-3 right now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Last I saw it was 10. So.
Yep, 17.
What I really think they want to do is kind of shock the world in the fact of going 0-4 as a start, so they think that we're out, and then just win outright every single game after that.
That would be a crazy.
That would be.
But to reel it back in, everybody,
let's
Luke,
switch it over to Luke.
Yeah.
And think of the same question, Luke. You got this guy on your team. He can play really well, but he's underachieving now. How do you approach it?
His name is Little Johnny, if you forgot.
Little Johnny.
No, he's beating Little Johnny up. He's swirling in the locker room.
Little Johnny's beating everybody up because he's, all right, whatever. Luke.
There's no issue with his skill level, correct?
Yeah. Oh no, he's talented, but he's just he's just underachieving. He's not doing
What?
well.
Again, it's more because of his attitude, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Brady just gave up and decided he didn't want to really try anymore.
I think so. This is what my ADOA says, and I think this is a great answer. And the best thing to do for a kid like that is the bench. Put him on the
Wow.
bench. If you're not going to be a part of a team, you put him on the bench. I'd rather have somebody out there that's actually trying to work as a team or a part of the team than someone that's trying to fight the team. And they have a decision whether or not they want to be a part of it or they want to keep on sitting on the bench. You could be there for one game, you could be there for a half, or you could be there for the rest of the season. But you're not bigger than the team, nor will you ever be bigger than the team. And if that's the attitude that you want, you could either be on the bench, and if you don't want to be on the bench, you could be off the team. Because I guarantee that there's somebody else that's going to put in the fight and the effort, even though you're that good, and give everything they possibly have to having the team win. And I'd rather that team over that player over the best player in the entire world.
Mhm.
And then being a teacher, I can also have that conversation with that player while he's also in school. So it's like, cool, you're hearing it from me as a coach, but you're also hearing it from me as a teacher. And here's how these things too can relate. So that's how I would handle it, especially if it's behavioral. If it's skill based, you would handle that differently because being on the bench isn't going to help them. That'd be more of a having that conversation, showing them film, that type of stuff. But behavioral, 100%. Here's the bench. You wake up when you decide to wake up. Then I can put you on the field, but not till you get there. And same thing goes for practice because if he's doing stuff in practice, it's probably whatever he's doing in practice is probably transferring into the game.
Mhm.
Now, have either one of you had experience with that with a player who you know is good, just doesn't want to try?
I would say it also. So here's the other thing I would say: it depends on numbers. And what I mean by that is my very first year in the program, we had like 20 something kids try out. So you're trying to keep all the kids there the entire time. So if one kid's kind of being a little bit of a douchebag or a jerk, you kind of have to keep them there. You know, there's not really a spot besides putting them on the bench. Whereas if you have 60, 70 kids trying out for the team, which we had last year, all right, now I have more kids to pick from. And then now there's a little bit more of a depth chart. So you got a little bit more pressure to perform how you have to perform. So I think numbers that you have in your program does play a big role in that. If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Ryan, did you have something you wanted to say about that as well, or should we go on to the
I'm
next
sorry,
one?
I had to mute for a second because my girlfriend opened the door. Can you reiterate the beginning question again?
Well,
That
no,
was
we were
good.
just Luke was just talking about, I guess, the same thing we were talking about, someone underachieving on the
Oh,
team.
the player underachieving in his situation.
Yeah.
So has this really got it? So has this really happened? We had one, but also there was other factors going on like outside of it that were weighing into how he was behaving. So it
Mhm.
gets to a point where if there's too much going on, where like how much can you do as a coach other than just be there for the player still? Like
Yeah.
that kid's still on the team. He was getting completely out of hand by the end of his freshman year, but I still have him in class now and I still have a pretty good relationship, like really good relationship with the kid.
Mhm.
So, just because, he's going through like a rough patch doesn't mean you still can't be there for them as a coach and stuff.
Yeah. I
Coach,
guess when it
teacher.
comes down to it, it's more about, I guess, making the player a better person in the long run than it is necessarily being the best athlete ever, sometimes, depending on the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, sports are connected to your life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you go through hardships in sports, that's how you're going to handle stuff going on in life. And that's just like a good opportunity to teach the kids how exactly they handle things. Over them getting angry or frustrated or this or that, be like, look, if you're getting angry at work or you're getting frustrated at work, you go punch your coworker in the face. No, you're going to have a conversation and talk it out. So that's why I think everything that goes on with sports, you can directly connect to real life, and then it becomes more understandable of what needs to happen.
Gotcha. So, going into our next situation, little Johnny, he graduated. He's done. He finally made it. He started achieving after getting benched for a while. And now his little brother, Big Jimmy, is new to the sport. How do you decide? I think we're starting with Luke on this one. What position he's going to play, and what do you do from there?
I would say every person's a different person. You know, I would say first off, I would hope that I would be going to scout him prior to seeing him for the first time, so I'd have like an idea of where he plays from games I've watched. And I just think it's really understanding, again, him as an individual player, see what his skill base is best. There's been a lot of times where we have different kids that come through the program that some are better than their brothers, whether they're older or younger. And you're like, oh, this person's going to be just like him. Or no, it's a completely different person. They have a different, all different characteristics about them, their height, their size, their emotion, their mental state, all those things are all completely different. So it's really just seeing how it fits your system, see what you've been doing for the past couple of years, what spots you need, see what they're best suited to do, and how that could fit into what you're trying to accomplish. So
you mean you would scout them in middle school, or
yeah,
if it, okay, that makes sense.
yeah. So
you
scout down there,
coming.
so you have a better idea. And then at the same time, typically siblings have a good idea. So if that kid came through my program, he understands what I'm trying to do. I can have that conversation with him after he graduates. Say, hey, I know that your brother's coming into the program. We'd love to have him here. What things do you not know about him? What's he good at? And they'll most of the time be honest with you about it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Ryan, thoughts?
Repeat this starting question again so I can get going. I get lost in the story.
So little Johnny.
Little Johnny and Big Jimmy. So how do I
Big Jimmy
decide
came in? Yeah.
Well, given their names are Little Johnny and Big Jimmy, I think Little Johnny's probably a skill player and Big Johnny's probably on the line. That being said, like every kid's different, especially in a sport like football. One, every kid can find a role in football somewhere. So it's kind of the nice thing about it. There's a lot of different teams, a lot of different positions, so you can kind of find a role for someone. We have two twin brothers on the team this year. They are freshmen. One of them is probably about your average sized freshman. The other one is 6'3" and 324 pounds.
Wow.
So you better believe.
What are they putting in those chicken nuggets?
I have no idea. I make the joke. I call them the triplets, and he's just two of the three triplets combined into one.
Something tells me they're not identical.
They do not look the same.
Okay.
That is for certain. The size difference is apparent. That being said, they're both great kids. They both fit different roles, though, on the team, given that. So in the situation of an older brother and a younger brother, we have that too on the team all the time. There's situations where pressure becomes a big deal. Like if the older kid was like star athlete on the team, sometimes like the younger one comes in and there's like a stigma to like, oh, you got to be as good as they were. You were related to them. And like those kids have like a little bit of an extra weight to them. So you kind of have to play that. You don't want to put any more pressure if like they're getting that type pressure from other people. Because like some do have an expectation, but also not even as much scouting, like he was saying, where you would look at the kids prior in like middle school. Like I'm the freshman coach, I get them when they're young, and then they talk to me about like my younger brother plays. Oh, how old's he? Oh, he's in 6th grade. All right, well, 3 years from now, I got to remember I'm going to have so and so's brother. And then you kind of like you talk to them, and they all play together when they're younger, so they give you like the info of they know what kids at other schools are like because they transferred there. So you get a lot of good info from talking to the kids.
Have you guys ever had a situation where, for whatever reason, a player didn't like you and then they had a little brother or sister who came through and then they felt the same because of their older sibling or anything along those lines?
Like,
I mean, you guys are pretty likable guys.
Oh.
Do you want me to read?
I was going to say, I can't really see that.
Like,
what I would say is,
if a player didn't like me, they would just quit.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's rarely a situation where someone loves the sport enough that even though they hate the coach, they're like, I'm going to stick it out for the love of sport.
Yeah.
They probably just get sick of it and either leave, transfer to another school, or, if they really like the sport that much, they'd probably transfer.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're making kids hate you that regularly, you're probably not a very good coach.
There's probably a
Maybe
coaching issue going on. I feel like your players probably should, they should like it. They should enjoy being coached.
I mean, you can be like mean as a coach at times and still ultimately be like a likable, good coach. It's the whole tough love thing. Can't do it all the time, then it can get bad.
I wouldn't even describe that as mean. I would just like, it's like stern,
I mean,
like
mean. I meant the tough love thing. I didn't mean mean.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But yeah,
I knew that's what you meant too. So.
Some people nowadays will say that's mean, honestly. Like you give someone tough love, like you're being mean to me, but it's really just
they got soft hands.
Well, that was mean.
Yeah, but you can, it's about relationships. You know what you can and can't say to certain kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Are we up to Ryan to start off this next one?
Doesn't matter. I'll do it.
Well, I'll pop it up to Ryan. So, you just played your rival again, the Pacers, or Pistons, my bad.
Oh, okay.
It's a bad loss, Ryan. Your team lost 56-0. And you have to motivate your team to continue after that. This is second game of the season. You're 0-2. How do you motivate your team after that?
So am I speaking to them like directly after the loss? Is this the next day?
This is directly after. This is locker room after the loss.
So it depends on how the game went. I've had games that we've gotten blown out where, the kids still fought hard. The kids played well. I can't be upset with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're just not the better team. It's especially at the freshman level. I'm more speaking on the behalf of where like some kids, you just get a good team. Sometimes you just lose, especially at that level. But we had a game that we've had a couple losses this year at the freshman level. We had one that we lost, and I was very mad after the loss because we were winning at half, yet our whole team seemed very deflated. We had like no energy. I didn't know what was going on. If I'm getting a phone call, I don't know if that screwed anything up.
You're good. We got everything, so keep going.
All right, sorry. But continue where I was. I'm sorry.
We were a freshman team.
A couple of losses.
Mm-hmm.
Had a loss. We were up at half. We had no energy. So at that, I kind of yelled at them a little bit at the end, like, "Hey guys, winning at half. What happened that like caused this like deflate? Like, what did we get in our heads? Like, what went on that like because they scored on us at halftime and it was 10-7. Like what? And then we had another loss the next week where we lost, but they played really well. And it was against a team that just, so we were in the right spot at the right time. The kid's a foot taller than you. What are you going to do? Like, so after a loss like that, I literally had them all applaud themselves after. I was like, hey, you guys played very well.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing the right things. You were in the right spots. We got a lot better. I know the score didn't necessarily dictate that, but like it was definitely noticed amongst us as the coaches, probably everyone that watched. You guys played a very good game. So that's kind of how it depends on how the game went. If we got blew out by our rival, and our rival's just a lot better than we are, but they tried really hard, you know what? I'm going to have them applaud themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If they went out and they all gave up because it's their rival and they didn't want to play and they just start faking injuries and being like, oh, my back hurts and I'm on the side, like then I'm going to be, mad because we're not even trying and we're just giving up.
Mm-hmm. I guess even just like freshman JV and varsity sort of matters too. Like you're going to have a different message probably for freshmen than you are with the varsity team.
Yeah, mine generally is more dictated at that level just because what I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I've had so many different style of like other, like how the different head coaches from my head coach to how our previous head coach to how our new head coach kind of talks and handles things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've all been totally different. So Mine's again more at the freshman level, but I definitely don't think I could do all the same things when it gets to the varsity level because, you know,
Well, like you said, though, it's a learning thing. You learn from the other coaches, and then you eventually start to develop your own, I guess, niche as well that helps you work with your population of people.
Mhm.
And Luke, what are your thoughts? What do you do after a big loss against the rivals, the Pistons? I hate those guys.
Well, no, I would say I completely agree. I think it really depends on the situation. You know, it's is it the first game of the season? Is it the last? Is it one of the last games of the season? Is it? Did you guys put the effort in? Did you not put the effort in? If you're not putting the effort in, that's where we get really annoyed with them because we expect a lot higher of a level, especially on the varsity level, and what they should be doing. So again, if their effort is horrible and they're just letting the team just dribble through them or do whatever they want to do, obviously we'd be more annoyed about that than like you're saying with okay, we're in this game, but we lost 1-0 or we lost 2-0. We were in it the entire time for this score with 5 minutes left. You know, that responses might be a little bit different if the effort is there and now it's just more of the skill based thing. So with all the skill based stuff, what I'll then do is I'm not sure if you guys do you use Huddle for videos?
we do.
So then we'll go into Huddle. It analyzes everything for you, which is fantastic. So you can kind of go in again. If the effort's there, but the skill wasn't there, then you can go in, you can watch film and be like, look, effort was there, but here are the different aspects that we are struggling with. This is what we got to work on. And then we as coaches have to set up our practices to make sure that we make the adjustments for those different things. And again, using that type of stuff. Now, if it's effort based, all right, obviously that's more towards different drills that you're going to do to work on the effort that's being given. Having it be more of like for us, like 50-50 balls, going at players with pace, that type of stuff. So you're actually putting in the effort with repercussions if you don't get the job done. And again, knowing the situation, how the game went, whether or not it was a close game, what the effort wasn't there, I think that all dictates how you kind of go about that loss.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, fellas, we are coming up on 52 minutes here.
Wow.
We have a few options. Yeah, went by very quick.
You blink and there it is.
Do you guys want to go through a few more questions? Are you feeling like we're getting tired and have to go to bed? What do you guys think?
I'll do another. We can do another question if you want.
So
Cap
maybe
off.
we'll sort of veer off of the perspectives for the last one, and maybe we'll do easy for everybody. Maybe not easy. I don't know. We'll see.
I think I know which one you're gonna pick.
Go for it, Tommy.
Oh, you want? Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
go for it.
All right. So we're going with the nightcap question. So you guys are coaches with experience under your belt. What's your advice for new coaches in your sport? Someone who's just coming out, brand new, coming in. What's the advice you give them?
Patience.
That's a good one.
Patience.
I like that.
That's what I would say. I can go into more detail if you want to say what yours is first.
Go into detail, Luca, then we'll go to Ryan.
So, a couple coaches have said this before, and I think it makes a lot of sense. When you first take over a program, the program's not yours till 4 years in, because you've cycled out of all the seniors, all the freshmen that you've had as your first year now seniors. So they see how you are as a coach. They've been able to grow with you as you've grown as a coach. So it takes time and patience to allow for that to happen. Your coaching style is different than the coach that started before you. So there's always going to be that learning curve of, okay, here's how I used to do things. Here are how we're doing things now. And I think that's just also giving yourself a little bit of grace and being like, okay, the first year didn't go so well. I know at least for me, the trajectory of basically what happened was the first year I was a coach. We had, I think it was 1 win. Second year, we had 3 wins. Then we had 7 wins. Then we went undefeated. So just a progression. Yeah. So just that progression of being patient, really looking into it, really doing your job as a coach, getting to know the players, getting to know the sport, understand that the first year is going to be rough unless you get spoon fed an incredible program and you're good to go. But being okay with starting from the ground up, having goals that you have set in mind and where you want to be, and then working your way to that point. And again, the biggest thing is just having patience and just knowing that eventually you'll get there. It might not be right now, it might not be in 2 years, it might not be in 5 years. But if you're doing the right thing, you see progress every year, you're on the right track. Now it's just guiding everyone in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that can apply to a lot of other things too. Like we're going to make mistakes, but you just have to keep being consistent, keep trying to do the best you can, and
Yeah.
make progress on like your own skill level too. You have to work on the things that you have deficits in as well in order to, I guess, grow in your career, in your job.
And what I'll say is that this is just
For
my
sure.
thing for life in general is be okay to fail. Like fail more far often, because every time you fail, you're able to learn from it. You know, there are many times where you try a formation in soccer and it doesn't work. Okay, that's okay. Now we know it doesn't work. It's easier for preseason because preseason you could fail a lot.
Mhm.
Or during summer league or that type of thing, you can make a whole bunch of different mistakes and be fine. Once actually during the season, different story. But at the same time, if you make a mistake, don't make that same mistake twice.
Mhm.
Make the mistake, learn from it, move on. I'm sure you've all watched Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. Short memory, move on, get to the next thing, call it a day.
I like it.
Ryan, for you, what's your advice for new coaches in your sport?
Mine would say is to definitely you can't fake your like personality. You can't fake yourself because kids will see right through that. So you have to be one authentic, and you have to also like practice what you preach. You can't be someone who's telling kids that you can't be late to practice and be showing up to late yourself as a coach. You kind of have to be that role model example for them. And it's got to be like coming from you. Like you can't go out there and try to fake acting like some video you saw because a coach told you this is what thing to do. Kids will see through that. And, they're not dumb, especially as they get older, they can really see through it. So you got to make sure like you're being yourself. You're figuring out like what the team needs is a big thing for me. There have been times where I've been more of like the first year I joined, we had some yeller coaches that really liked to scream. So I made sure I didn't do a lot of that my first year. I was kind of more of the I'd go around after a kid got screamed at, be the guy to kind of talk to them, see what's going on, give them a pat on the back type thing. Then we lost some of those coaches. We had some younger coaches come in, and then we didn't have as much of like kind of a yelling presence. And then I'm like, all right, now I got to kind of step up and be that voice. Is it non-genuine? No, stuff that's going on in practice that's really bothering me. But before, where I'd kind of hold back on it, now I'm gonna kind of be the one to like yell, be like, hey, we got to start doing this. Let's go. Let's get moving. So, but you can't fake it. You gotta be the whole fake it till you make it doesn't work in coaching. You got to be authentic. People see through it. Kids aren't dumb.
Yeah, and then you continue to grow, like just as you described, you continue to grow as you're comfortable with yourself, and as the kids become comfortable with you too. It all changes.
Yeah, the different types of coaches work. There's not one perfect way to coach. It can be different based on different personalities.
Yeah, and I'm sure that your guys' coaching dynamic has changed over the years now too. From when you first started, from year one to now, I'm sure that it's completely evolved and changed, and I'm sure it changes every year depending on the kids on the team too.
Yeah, because I'll even say it depends on the coaching staff, because I feel like a lot of times coaches just do what they want to do without utilizing the other goalies or other people. So, for example, my assistant coach is went to Leonia High School where I'm coaching, so he has a good understanding of what the school's like and all of that. So his perspective on what the program is like, he's played through it, he's been a part of it his entire life, so he knows the expectation that everyone has. On top of that, I'm obviously taller, he's a little bit shorter, he has a different perspective for the different kids that we're talking to. And then I'll have a goalie coach come in, which actually is one of Aaron and I, our art teacher in high school. He comes in and he does stuff with the goalies. because that's not my forte. That's not my assistant coach does play goalie, but his forte is goalie. So he'll come in, work with the goalies, and that's his job. And then my JV coach is a little bit more old school, so his perspective is completely different. And I want him, and he does a lot more of the mental stuff. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing your entire coaching staff instead of just being like, "This is on me. I have to do this every single day," and trust everyone else around you.
Well, I think it's a
Oh, yeah.
great way to wrap it up for the day. Yeah, we went through a lot of stuff. Honestly, we even had more stuff we were thinking of talking about, but we've been going for exactly an hour. So we will wrap it up there for today. Thank you both for coming on. We loved having you guys. And
Thanks
have
for
a nice
having
night.
us.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
problem. Have a nice night, everybody.